I gave LA Knight all of the WWE titles in W2K23, went through an entire year of universe mode, and learned to see how many he could key EEP. Get it? You get the joke? You freaking get it? So we got our first match at Backlash. We got LA Knight defending the WWE title against the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns. About halfway through the match, Jey Uso's music hits, and he comes from behind. He cracks LA Knight in the head with the steel chair, and then it looks like Roman Reigns is going to go for the cover, but he doesn't because he just stops. Roman Reigns just crawls around, and I guess he forgot how to cover someone. So then LA Knight is able to recuperate and hit the burning hammer for no pinfall. But for LA Knight, he was able to hit this. He was able to hit the blunt force trauma to Reigns, and he pins him. And somehow LA Knight defies the odds and defeats the tribal chief. Before we go to Hell in a Cell, I'd like you to hit the subscribe button. You get what I did? Play on his name? Get it? Alright, fine, let's just go. At Hell in a Cell, we had a Hell in a Cell match. LA Knight defends the WWE title against Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre decimates and destroys LA Knight and mercifully finishes him off with a Claymore, and he pins him for the 3. And Drew McIntyre obliterates in his conquest to become champion again. At NXT In Your House, LA Knight is defending the NXT Championship against Braun Breaker. LA Knight has some offense early in the match, but Braun Breaker is eventually able to make a comeback, hit him with a spine buster. He picks him up, throws him on the mat, and hits the Steiner recliner, but the ropes are there, so Braun Breaker just goes into the corner, spears him, and wins the NXT Championship from LA Knight. So we're at Money in the Bank now, where we have a Money in the Bank match between these 8 guys, and during the match, Sheamus just walks up to the ramp, and he just goes into the crowd and then taunts and stands there. So then Jinder Mahal gets in on the taunting game, and the game crashes. Yep. The game crashed. I mean, that's not really surprising at all, So I just decided to say screw it, and I just simmed the match, and Jey Uso is Mr. Money in the Bank. Yeah! Woohoo! So later in the night, we got a U.S. title shot this time. Title match. Yeah, there you go. LA Knight's defending against Roman Reigns again. I guess Roman Reigns now getting a shot at the secondary title because he's a big fat loser. But even though I said he's a big fat loser, he turns out to be a big fat winner instead because Roman Reigns squashes LA Knight and finishes him off with a spear in the corner. And Roman Reigns claims the U.S. title. Guess that's what I get for making fun of him. So at the Great American Bash, LA Knight faces off against Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship. And in the end, LA Knight finishes off Braun Breaker with something. I don't know. I think it was like a blunt force trauma. But anyways, LA Knight retains the NXT title. Whoopie-doo. Oh, I forgot to mention, during a random episode of SmackDown, LA Knight is able to reclaim the Universal Championship from Drew McIntyre, but LA Knight's able to finish off Drew McIntyre and reclaim the title that he lost like a week ago or something. I don't know. Now we're at SummerSlam, the final showdown between Roman Reigns and LA Knight. Roman Reigns is bringing out the entire bloodline, the Usos and Paul Heyman, and LA Knight's looking to reclaim the title. LA Knight puts up a good fight, but in the end, thanks to the bloodline's interference, Roman Reigns is able to capitalize, hit a spear, pin him, and retain the United States title to end this feud. Clash of the Castle. LA Knight defends the Intercontinental Championship against the Reign General Gunther. During the match, it looks like LA Knight's got the upper hand, but then Imperium's music hits, and this turns the tables in favor of Gunther, as he hits not 1, not 2, but 3 power bombs to win the Intercontinental Championship away from LA Knight. Extreme Rules. LA Knight's looking to recover the Intercontinental title that he lost a month prior, as he takes on Gunther once again, but this time in Extreme Rules, maybe to give LA Knight an advantage. And despite the advantage being in LA Knight's favor, he still took the L. Gunther just grabs him, power bombs him to the mat, he pins him. Gunther retains the Intercontinental title, and boy, LA Knight is not doing good at all. So now we're at Survivor Series War Games. We have a War Games match between LA Knight, and LA Knight, the Knights of the Round Table. Their opponents are Drew McIntyre, Massey, and Mansoor. They are the maximum male models. Yes, Drew McIntyre is a male model. Just imagine that. Put that in your head. And after a crazy War Games match between the male models and the LA Knights, the LA Knights are able to win after LA Knight, I think in like blue, neutralizes Drew McIntyre of the male models, and LA Knight gets his revenge, and the Knights of the Round Table are running wild on the World Wrestling Entertainment. NXT War Games, LA Knight is defending the North American Championship against Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller gets a rear naked choke in, but LA Knight gets out of it, and then Grayson Waller locks on an armbar and goes for a pinfall, but he doesn't get the three. Shocking! I can't believe it. But LA Knight is able to get the upper hand, hits a burning hammer, and then follows up with an air raid siren to retain the North American Championship. So now we have a Universal Championship match at day 1. LA Knight defends the Universal title against Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross locks on the crosslock, but a rope break by LA Knight saves his ass. However, what doesn't save him is the fact that he gets Doomsday sidoed right into the canvas, and then Karrion Kross jumps off, and it's a big elbow drop to finish off LA Knight and win the Universal Championship. Now we arrive at New Year's Evil. In order to determine who would fight LA Knight for the NXT title, we had a War Games match, and these are the 4 winners of the match, right here. And now to decide who would it be, we decided to do it the old-fashioned way. Spin to win. We just spun a wheel, and Carmelo Hayes was the lucky man that popped up on the wheel. And now we're at New Year's Evil. Carmelo Hayes challenges LA Knight for the NXT Championship. It was a good little fight, but in the end, LA Knight is able to hit the blunt force trauma to pin and actually win a match for a change. Congrats, man. You finally won a match after it seems like it's been like days. So, great job, LA Knight. So now we arrive at the Royal Rumble, where we have LA Knight looking to get back the Universal title that he lost to Karrion Kross. And Karrion Kross now has his wife Scarlett in his corner as they fight for the Universal title one more time. And we had a back and forth match, and despite Scarlett's interference to make sure that LA Knight loses, it was all for naught because LA Knight, knee to the face, clothesline, pins Karrion Kross, and he wins back the Universal title, defying all the odds. Now it's time for the Royal Rumble match. The winner goes to WrestleMania to fight whichever champion they choose. After a brutal Royal Rumble, Logan Paul, of all people, wins the match and is going to WrestleMania to probably fight LA Knight. And I say probably because of things that are coming up. God, why does Logan Paul win all the time? Jesus Christ. Now we fast forward to the Elimination Chamber. We have an Elimination Chamber match for the WWE title. We got LA Knight, Brock Lesnar, Finn Balor, Cody Rhodes, Bobby Lashley, and for some reason, Vader. I don't know why, but he's in the match, so deal with it. During an Elimination Chamber match, Finn Balor is taken out by Vader via Vader Bomb. LA Knight is taken out by Bobby Lashley with a Dominator guaranteeing a new world champion. Lashley is taken out by Lesnar via an F5. Lesnar then gets taken out by Cody Rhodes with a Crossroads, and then Vader finally falls to Rhodes after Rhodes hits a picture-perfect moonsault. And Cody Rhodes wins the WWE Championship, finishing the story and his family. We're now at the final NXT pay-per-view, Stand and Deliver. And LA Knight is defending his NXT title against Braun Breaker. And after a competitive fight where both men gave it their all, LA Knight gets caught in the Gorilla Press Power Slam combo, and Braun Breaker wins the NXT Championship away from LA Knight. Yeah. Yeah. Finally at WrestleMania, Night 1, the Royal Rumble winner Logan Paul challenges the current Universal Champion LA Knight for the Universal title, and LA Knight gets hit with a DDT. Logan Paul goes to the top, hits a big frog splash, and defeats LA Knight, taking away the Universal title that he worked so hard to keep. Man, that's pretty shitty, isn't it? And now we're finally at Night 2. LA Knight is getting his rematch for the WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes squashes LA Knight like a bug. He hits the vertebraker, immediately follows it with a crossroads, pins him, and that's it. That's your WrestleMania main event. Cody Rhodes finished the story. Again. And LA Knight is just a loser. So now it's time to wrap everything up. Where does LA Knight land up in the history books? Well, LA Knight kept the North American title. However, he lost every other title that he could lose. He lost the Universal title to Logan Paul. He lost the WWE title to Cody Rhodes. He lost the United States title to Roman Reigns. He lost the Intercontinental title to Gunther. And then finally he lost the NXT title against Braun Breaker. So really, LA Knight is just a big loser. Like, there's not else I can describe him. He's just a giant loser. Which kind of represents his booking right now in WWE. A loser. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. See you later. Goodbye.